Hello, this is Crystal from Misfit Interactive, and I just wanted to do a quick video for all of my hosted clients at Misfit to highlight some of the things that you can do with your control panel that you may not be aware of. And I get a lot of questions from clients because they're not familiar with how to log into a hosting account, what capabilities you have in a hosting account, and things like that. So we're going to use one of my clients as an example, and I'm going to walk you through some of the processes and things that you can do. And then if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I do want to highlight that as a hosting client, we do back up your site daily, weekly, and monthly. And we provide a way for clients to edit emails and things like that. The only thing that we do not provide as a web host, and there's no web hosts that provide this as part of the web hosting package, it's always a separate service, is maintenance to your website. And then, of course, if you do not keep your website up to date and it gets some kind of malware, or maybe your computer has some sort of code on it that like a spyware, and they steal your password and they log in and they do all these edits. We do not do anything for that in particular for just web hosting clients. Now, we do offer a package so that clients who want us to maintain the updates on their site for them, whether it's updating WordPress or plugins or things like that, we offer maintenance agreements for them for about $20 a month. We do all of that for you. And of course, we offer maintenance agreements if you need someone to make edits to your website. But again, that is not included in the hosting packages. This is just for straight hosting. So I just want to make that clear initially. Now, one of the things that you'll receive is an email that has all of your login information. It's kind of a lot of data, which is the reason I wanted to make this video, because once you log into the website, that's when things get a little technical. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that this is what you will have access to when you log into the link that is provided in the email. So this is the sample of a control panel. This is your hosting account. You can log in this at any time with the information I sent you in an email. And you have all these options of all these cool things you can do. We'll just start at the top. So the initial section, the file section, this is basically if you are doing any kind of edits to your site and you need to create an FTP account, which is a way to log into a website and transfer files. If you needed to look at the files that are on the site, in general, most people aren't going to need to access this because most are going to have basically a content management system that lets them log in and make edits to the site. So unless you're like manually making edits to site files and code, you really don't need this section at all. The next section is databases. Again, this is for people, more advanced users. Most of the sites that we build for our clients do use databases, and that's what stores the information. I don't see any clients, unless they are actually working with code themselves, utilizing this section, so you don't really need that section. Domains might be a section that you use if you are, I know in our default hosting account, you're allowed to have up to 10 add-on domains. You can also create an unlimited amount of subdomains on your site. Well, limited in as far as how much space you have on your server, which I think we have like multiple gigs available for all of our clients. So it's going to be hard to use up all that space unless you're uploading videos or something, which we don't recommend because it's going to slow down your site. If you do want to add videos, I would suggest using them on like YouTube and then just embedding them onto your website. So adding subdomains and add-on domains, this is essentially if you have another site you want to host on the same server, you would basically select add-on domains. Maybe you have a site that's about, I don't know, it's a store that you sell hats, so hatstore.com or something. So you would type in your website for the add-on domain. It's going to pick a folder to store those files in, and then you just basically hit add, and then now you have that folder created that you can install or set up a new site, and it will be available at hatstore.com if you've purchased that domain name. So that's all that the add-on domain section is for. Subdomains, that's if you wanted to have a subsite, like let's say you have a site called rpg.com, and then maybe you wanted to have store.rpg.com as a separate site that's part of your site, but maybe this is just where all the shop and store and e-commerce is. So you can set up like store, and it will create basically the URL now of store. For this example, acfarmersmarket.org. That'll be a separate site now, and we can install a whole nother WordPress installation, or maybe you want it to be a forum, in that folder, which is located here, which we'll get to later on. I'm going to go ahead and remove this because this client obviously doesn't need that. And we'll go back to our cPanel. So that covers the domain section. Email is probably going to be the one you're in the most, because you have basically unlimited amounts of email that you can, or email accounts that you can set up. Obviously, we have limited space on your server, so you want to make sure that you're cleaning out your junk and your spam, and that you're only saving emails that you absolutely need to save. Because if you've got 10 emails and everybody's, saving 50 gigs worth of emails, it's going to add up. So to create a new email account, you basically go to email accounts. Let's say you want to have Crystal as an email. You can do, let me see. Oh, this is a list of the existing email accounts. My bad. So we're going to go to, it should be under email. Oh, here we go. Create. They moved it around on me. So we can create like crystal@acfarmersmarkets.org. You can generate or create your password here. I usually generate because these are more secure than like, password 123 or something like that. And then you can set a space limit. If you're having coworkers, I would set it to maybe, I don't know, like 1,000 megabytes. You can set unlimited, but again, if people aren't cleaning out their emails and they just start letting it pile up, eventually you're going to run out of space. So, and then you can send a welcome email, which gives them all the information if they want to set it up on their phone and things like that. So that's all you would have to do to create that email, but we're not going to do that right now because we don't need that. And also, actually, while we're in the email section, if you want to know how to access the email through webmail, you have the option to set it up on your cell phone. You have the option to set up in something like Outlook or Thunderbird, or you can set it up on your phone. Now, to check your webmail, I send everybody the web address in the email to check webmail, but you can also do it in your server as well, just by clicking check webmail and then selecting the default webmail application. Roundcube's always a really good one, so we'll select that one. And then all of a sudden, you are logged into your email. Now, from, let's see, connected devices, if you want to set up your email on your cell phone, if you go to connected devices, it tells you how to manually set up your email. Now, it also provides instructions on setting up an Outlook or things like that. There's an auto discovery option, but it provides instructions. So when you're in setting up an email on your phone, you basically have your username, whatever the password was you set up. It tells you how to set up the incoming and outgoing servers, and then it'll give you the option to save it, and then of course access your email at that point in time. So all of this information will be provided to you in the web hosting email that you've been sent. But if you need help, let me know. But try to go through the options here first, just to see if you can set it up on your own with this information that's available, your port numbers and everything, in some sort of mail app on your phone. The same with Outlook. All this information will be the same either way. For mail clients, don't use your Gmail app. I did have one client that tried to do that once. You just have to get a regular email client for a cell phone. Basically like a version of Outlook or Thunderbird, but for your cell phone. If we go back to emails, maybe you don't want to have an email. Maybe you already have one that you use regularly for business, and you just want something to forward to that instead. Because obviously having crystal123@gmail.com looks less professional than crystal@misfitinteractive.com. So you can set up what's called a forwarder. And basically what that does is, if you want to say like info at whatever domain you have set up on your site, will forward to crystalmgroves@gmail.com. So I would respond and check my emails like normal, like I always do in my regular Gmail account or whatever. But the initial email will be info@acfarmersmarkets.org or whatever domain you're using. And that will instead forward there, and it'll look more professional, especially for things like business cards or website or direct correspondences. The only other thing that I can think of that you might be interested in is spam filters. So by default, we have some very basic spam filters, but obviously we don't like go overboard with them because some clients need to kind of set up their own what's allowed or what's not allowed. Some people do international work, some don't. So you can move or set up different options. I think we already set it up for this one so that they would process new emails. We could set up, what's the processing score before it's considered spam. Default is 5. You can be a little bit more aggressive if you want. You can be a little bit more passive if you want more emails to be able to get through, depending. So you have the option to set a threshold for your spam. And then it will process them and mark them as spam. You can have them automatically moved to a separate folder. You can have them automatically deleted so you're not getting like so much spam that it's filling up your server and things like that. There's some additional configurations you can set up, like whitelisting certain email addresses, blacklisting like .ru for Russian email addresses if you get a lot of those. So whitelist, you want to whitelist emails that maybe it got marked for spam accidentally because maybe there was something questionable in the email that spam filters usually look at, but it wasn't. So you can whitelist that email address or that company so that it doesn't get put in your spam anymore. So you have that option to set up certain filters on your hosting account. Metrics. We tend to install certain analytics and things on all of our clients' websites. So traffic data is a little bit more accurate that way, but you do have the option to look at bandwidth and visitors and certain stats and access logs under metrics. So you're welcome to play around with those if they help with understanding the type of traffic that you're getting. Security. There's really not a lot you need to do here, but you're welcome to play with any of this. I'm not going to go through these options because for the most part, our clients have never needed to use these. Software. I wouldn't mess with the software section, but you could mess with, let's see, I don't think you need anything under advanced preferences. You can change your password. You can change your contact information for your hosting account. User manager will basically allow you to set up certain accesses per user for like emails or things like that. And then I think Soft Delicious is the section that might be most useful for you guys. So like I was mentioning before, if you have a hosting account and you want to set up a subdomain or maybe another add-on domain, or you want to install a piece of software to use for something. So you have all kinds of free software scripts you can set up. WordPress obviously being the most popular. If you need a forum, there's PHP BB forum, there's Small Machines forum, which is one I've used before. So you have all these different options that you can install, and it automatically installs it for you. You just select all your information, the name of it, the login information, and things like that. You can click on categories and it'll let you see, here's a list of all your blogging types of software that are available. If you want to install a wiki, here's all the wiki software available. Let's see. Calendars. I don't know. I think blogging is probably blogging and forums are probably going to be the most popular. There are some e-commerce options available as well, like OpenCart's fairly popular. I don't recommend ZenCart. Yeah, I would say OpenCart would probably be a big one for a lot of people to use. So you can install this software basically you have to have a little bit of details set up ahead of time, like what domain you're going to have it installed on, where it's going to be installed. It'll automatically create a lot of this for you, so there's not a whole lot you need to do. I think it even creates the database for you. So you have all this software that you are welcome to play with and set up domains for, but it's all part of the hosting packages that we provide for all of our clients. So we're going to go back to our cPanel, but that's like that and the email, I think, are the two sections that you guys are going to utilize the most. So you always have your stats here on the right. If you see that right now 10 gigs is the limit for this account, I think all of our accounts are set up as 10 gigs. So you can see how much bandwidth you're using. If you have any add-on domains or subdomains, how many email accounts you have, mailing lists, you can set up autoresponders and things like that. But all your stats will be here on the right as well. And there are a couple of different templates on how this shows up, but I think this is the main default one these days. So a lot of this information is the same no matter what template you use. But if you guys have any questions for anything, let me know. Email support@misfitinteractive.com with your questions so that I can filter out technical support issues with things like sales or meeting requests. And I will get to you as soon as I'm able. Thanks.